This is a video of the Northeast Backcountry Discovery Route we did in late May, early June. First and foremost, this was a fantastic route. Great mix of gravel, dirt, backcountry roads, and some unmaintained roads. Ron and I combined Route 1 and 2 the first day. It's about 306 miles. We camped at Tyconia State Park, which was also very nice. This was the start of day 2. We combined Route 3 and half of Route 4. Again, just great gravel roads, backcountry roads. Great scenery. You'd be on gravel roads like this, then they would lead something to like this. Just a beautiful setting. The weather was fantastic. We really got blessed with the weather on this trip. Coming up to the end of day 2, we will camp. I think it was called Otter Creek Campground, and then we will start on the latter half of 4 and Route 5. This day would probably be the more difficult day. Again, if you ride a lot off-road, I don't believe that this is very difficult terrain. Ron and I probably do about 100 hours on 2 strokes, you know, through the woods, trail riding, through rocks and creeks, so we're used to this type of riding. I would never say it's easy, especially if you do more adventure riding and you're spending more time on the road. You'll probably find this to be quite difficult in spots, but very doable. On a GS 1200, I owned one. I think it'd be very capable in this type of terrain. You just got to go slow and paddle your feet when you need to. Again, Ron's riding the V-Strom 650 and I'm on an Aprilia 660.
I'm gonna go right off that.
I think both of these bikes were great for this type of riding. We didn't have many put downs. Bikes did really well. Most of all, the weather was fantastic. Again, every dirt section would always be followed up by this type of view. You'd come out of the woods and be on asphalt, just spectacular views. I live in North Carolina and ride a lot in Tennessee, North Carolina, and the biggest difference I found riding in this area is that the valleys are much more expansive. So even though the views seem similar, there's definitely a different feel. And then, of course, you come across these beautiful farms and churches at every turn. Just really adds to the whole feel of the route. Most of this footage right here is coming from Section 5 or Route 5, however you want to describe that. So we're coming to the end of day 3, which was the latter half of Route 4 and Route 5. And Ron actually said after doing this that this was over the top, and for all the riding that he has done in his 62 years, it's, I would agree, it was a pretty incredible day of riding, close to 300 miles, just great scenery, great riding. Had to do a little bit of brake maintenance, and that's self-explanatory. This is the start of Route 6 in New Hampshire. Route 6 and half of 7 is what we did on this day, and this was nice. It was a little less about riding skill and more on scenery and views and overlooks and things like that. This is still Route 6. This is the Kangamangas Highway, and we are approaching Mount Washington, which we hope will be clear enough for us to do the auto road. You could tell it was getting windy and denied. The wind speeds on the outer road were 70 miles an hour, so they were not allowing motorcycles to travel up to Mount Washington. So this is the beginning of Route 7, which takes us into Maine. Getting late in the day, and we are headed for camp. We ended up staying at Mount Blue.
It's gonna be spectacular. Only because we did like 375 miles today.
You can tell I'm a little excited to get to camp. It was a very long day. This would be day 5 for us. We're going to finish up Route 7 and continue on to Route 8. This is Rangeley, Maine. Absolutely beautiful place. The riding in Maine was really great. Wasn't very difficult, but just allowed you to kind of think about the whole experience. Being out there 1,400 miles on the road. It was really great. Scenery was beautiful. One thing about Maine, though, with all the water runoff probably from the snow in the spring, it was not the only place, but we ran into 2 road closings there where the bridges were out. Most importantly, at the end of the route, we could not make it to Rhubarb Pond because the last bridge was out. Right there is the sign, and it actually tells mountain bikers to be cautious traveling across the bridge because it is eroded so badly on the banks. So we decided to push on for the border. Border agent kindly reminded us that we were in a no parking zone. At this point we've completed the route and we are headed back. We are hoping that we can get back down through Gorham, New Hampshire and back towards Mount Washington, and maybe we'll have better luck this time around. That's Mount Washington off in the distance. And yes, we had better luck today. Wind speeds were 38 miles an hour, and they were allowing bikes to travel the auto road. I ride with a guy off-road who's afraid of heights. He'd absolutely love this road.
Go for it.
So making our way back down from Mount Washington, we'll wrap this up pretty quickly and get a campsite on the border of Vermont and New Hampshire. So this is the second day headed home. We decided to take a detour, go through Stowe, Vermont and Smuggler's Notch. So this is Lake Champlain, which is on the border between Vermont and New York. We were hoping to take a ferry across the middle, but that ferry has not been in operation since 2022, so we took the northern ferry.
Lake Placid, like by 11:30.
Okay.
Just drive through there.
It's the first time I ever took my bike for a boat ride. We actually drove around some of the Olympic complex in Lake Placid where they still train for some of the winter events.
I'm filming, Ron.
What?
I'm filming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, windshield. 1,700 miles of bugs.
So anyone who's done a long ride knows what we're doing now, just putting in some miles, trying to get back to the truck and trailer that we drove up from North Carolina. And that is Unadilla. That should be a pretty busy place in a week or two. So if you didn't hear it, 1,885 miles was the complete trip, and now we are back to my truck and we'll be headed home.